What up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. It is a grind my gears Tuesday on this October 29th. DK show up on the air on your radio dials 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Also available online at sportstalk1051.com. Got your Google and Alexa home devices, the app. Download that puppy and take it on the go. Also got the video streams up and rolling here this morning on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget about smart devices, smart speakers over there too, like your Google and Alexa home devices. But appreciate you making us a part of your start on this Tuesday. What do we got on a good old game plan for us? We'll talk some pack. Matt LaFleur yesterday talking a little bit with media, but we've got some reports on the health of one Jordan Love, Jair Alexander, and Evan Williams. And I don't know if he's got some lucky rabbits or rabbit feet or what, but it sure seems like, knock on wood, continues this way. They've been dodging a lot of bullets when it comes to the health of the Packers. But according to reports, Ian Rappaport, I believe, was the first one out there saying Jordan Love, his MRI came back with good news. It's a strained groin, nothing major. So you've got potential that he could play this weekend. Although if you follow some accounts like Pro Football Doc out there, throwing some doubts on the possibility. Although I will say, if you're still holding out hope that Jordan plays this week, Pro Football Doc was pretty adamant last week too, saying no way Jane Daniels is going to play and Jane Daniels play. So, but kind of see how the week transpires here. Tom Pelissero, for what it's worth, who has tons of connections with Green Bay, used to cover the team and such. He followed up that report saying an MRI confirmed optimism about Jordan Love's status. He'll be day to day and has a shot to play on Sunday. Jair, meanwhile, according to Rob Demovsky, his MRI on his knee came back positive. Rob says, per source, tests on his knee did not show significant concerns. Nothing has been decided about his availability for Sunday, but they will monitor his soreness throughout the week. And there is also optimism about Evan Williams and his hamstring for this weekend, too. A lot of optimism. A lot of optimism. So we'll see how it all plays out here as the week kinda goes on here. No practice or anything like that today, but, we'll see the team back on the practice field tomorrow, so we'll get a little bit of a better idea how, how it all shape out. Maybe, get our first glimpse of how it all shape out for this upcoming weekend here. But now that week 8 is officially in the books, we're on to week 9 of the NFL season. Halfway mark. Can you believe it already? It's just flying on through. Holy crap! So we'll talk some football and such throughout the morning. Talk a little green and gold. World Series. I'll say it's not living up to what the hopes I was having. I was hoping this was going to be a battle. I mean, first game was up. I mean, you when you hit a walk off grand slam and extra innings, kinda sets the tone, but after that, I mean, it's been the Dodgers. They win again last night, 4-2, 3-0. Freddie Freeman is just on a flipping tear right now. 3rd home run of the World Series for him, so I think it's fair to say Dodgers do continue to go on and win this thing. I think he's got the MVP, at this point, but got one more to go here. We'll see if the Yankees can do anything to try to extend this series on the brink of elimination here. But man, and that could be tonight. I mean, the Dodgers could pull the sweep out tonight at 7:08. So, but hoops wise, Bucks dropping another game last night. This time against the Boston Celtics. So the Bucks now, after picking up win number 1 on opening night last week against the 76ers, They have dropped their last 3 games, going back to their home opener against the Bulls on Friday. They fell to the Nets on Sunday, and now falling to the undefeated Boston Celtics. Dame, 33 points last night for the Bucks. I mean, Dame and Giannis. Giannis had 30 points and another double-double for him. But between those two, that's 63 points. Not much after that. Gary Trent Jr., 10. Brook Lopez, 13. But he was solid defensively, 4 blocks, 6 rebounds there. Giannis had led the team in rebounds. Portis just 4 points off the bench. I mean, not a ton of production off the bench overall. I mean, Pat led all bench scorers with 5 points. And the Bucks got off to, it was tight. Kind of set the tone though in the first half, but it was that third quarter where Boston just kind of came out and took that momentum and never turned back. Bucks just playing 3 quarters, and when you go up against a team like Boston, the defending champions, a deep and talented team, can't get away with just playing 3 quarters in that thing. Jaylen Brown had 30 points. Pritchard off the bench, for crying out loud. 10 of 14 from the field, 8 of 12 from 3. Now, I know he's not going to go 8 of 12 from 3 every single time. But, man, it was kind of frustrating, especially on a night, too, where Tatum was a little off. I mean, 1 of 8 from 3 from him. He just had 15 points overall. So, I know there's some frustration, and it is a Grind My Gears Tuesday. So, if you're a Bucks fan, are you a little frustrated with your team right now? Next game up for the Bucks is going to be on Halloween as they face the Memphis Grizzlies, and then they'll have a back-to-back. I should say back-to-back, but in terms of same team they'll play the Cavs on the 2nd and the 4th in a home and away series over there. But I know Giannis said after the Nets game, he said we got to find an identity. What's the identity? And I got to imagine people don't like hearing that you don't know what your identity is. Now, I know it's early. I know the season just began, but definitely sensing some frustration. I don't know if everybody's pushing the panic button quite yet, but there definitely is some rumblings about that. Definitely kind of leaning towards that a little bit there. So we'll throw some hoops chat into this. We've got some Badger chat with Mr. RJ Cardinal coming up at about 8:20 this morning. We'll finish up recapping the loss to Penn State, looking ahead to the Saturday night game in Iowa. Yesterday, it was also announced by the Badger men's basketball team that on November 15th, when the Badgers take on Arizona, they're going to be honoring those Final Four teams, which is perfect because they beat Arizona both those years in the tournament. But also, on the heels of Bo Ryan getting into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, there will be a banner raised into the rafters with Bo Ryan's name up there. So Bo Ryan's name will be up in the rafters. I think a lot of us for the last few years, we're trying to just wondering like what could the Badgers do, or what would the Badgers do to, I think it's fair to say, honor their best coach in history, because we've seen, in college sports, it's, they'll name the courts after a coach. The stadium may be named after a sponsor or a donor or anything like that, but, they'll name the court after somebody, kind of like Bo Ryan, at UW Platteville has a court named after him. So it seems like as of right now, the Badgers, they're going to be putting up a banner in Bo Ryan up at the Kohl Center. So, yeah, that's coming up November 15th. That's not that far away when you think about it. When you kind of think about it, right? That ain't that far away. So, but kind of cool. I shouldn't say kind of cool. It is pretty cool there. But Badgers, when you look at their upcoming schedule, here you got Holy Cross on the 4th, Montana State, Appalachian State, and then Arizona on November 15th. So college hoops right around the corner too. Sneaking up, sneaking up on us. Arizona is preseason rankings 10th over there too. So it will be a tough test, but I don't know if every single player is going to be there from those Final Four teams, but I know they said the Final Four teams coming back and well, their coach getting in the Hall of Fame too. That is a nice honor. That 10 years ago, are we talking about already for those teams? 9, 10 years ago. Golly, holy smokes! So, but we'll talk Badgers with Mister Cardinal coming up in a couple of hours from now. It is, as we mentioned, an ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. So, what's grinding your gears? What's grinding your gears here this morning? Hit me up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Comment on the video streams or hit me up on the socials with what is grinding your gears. Okay. So we got lots to get to here this morning. Let's jump right into it, shall we? With the leadoff, let's get things going here this morning. So we're gonna talk some Packers to open up things here, get things rolling here. What did Matt LaFleur have to say yesterday at his press conference? We'll go through some of the comments and such, and kind of put a bow on everything from the win against the Jaguars and Jaguars and such. So, and then kind of take a look at early looks at getting ready for Detroit here. So let's do it. All right, we'll take that break and get things humming and rolling here. Talk some football. What else is on your mind, though? Okay, got anything else that's on your mind? Let me know. Hit me up on that texting line again, 715-830-1912. Quick break. We'll be back in just a little bit. You looking for a new home, or maybe you're a first-time home buyer, or maybe you're looking for a parcel of land to call your own hunting land, whatever the case may be. Not sure where to go? Easy, simple. Woods and Water Realty. Just head to woodsandwater.com. Check out all the listings over there, and the fine team, the awesome team at Woods and Water Realty will work with you to find either it's your dream home or your first home, or maybe your family's expanding and you just need a little bit of a bigger home. Or again, maybe you're looking for that piece of land to put up a cabin, or just put up some tree stands and call your own hunting land over there. Whatever the case may be, all check out all the listings at woodsandwater.com. Woods and Water Realty, your real estate store. All right, Tuesday. Let's get things a rolling here this morning. Lots to get to here. Got some Bucks chats. I know that's probably going to be a popular grind my gears Tuesday chat there. Badgers throw in a little World Series talk, as World Series might already be over with after tonight, depending on what happens. And then, of course, the Packers here too. Got some updates on some injuries, maybe more so reports out there because nothing really officially official. But reports coming that Jordan Love's groin injury is, they got good news on it, I guess. I mean, that, one part, you obviously don't want a guy to get hurt or anything like that. But sounds like the MRI, it didn't really show anything serious. And we mentioned Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport, our good friend Rob Domofsky from ESPN, also saying that the groin strain is not expected to keep him sidelined long term, a source told ESPN. Tests on Monday did not show any significant damage and is considered a strain. A source said his availability for Sunday's game will be about how he feels and progresses throughout the week. So stretching, icing, maybe not moving a whole lot. I don't know, but trying not to move that groin around too much apparently. So, but he wasn't the only player that the Packers may have. Again, knock on wood, because feels like they've been dodging a lot of bullets here. But Jair Alexander, also according to Rob Domofsky and his sources, tests on Jair Alexander's knee also did not show any significant concerns. Nothing has been decided about his availability for the game, but the Packers will monitor his soreness throughout the week. Now, did tweet at Dr. Crow, if you follow me on Twitter, and saw the Jair news over there. Threw out a couple of different maybe options out there. But as the good doc also said out there too, that could maybe be a little bit of a bone bruise or something like that if he landed awkwardly, maybe another MCL thing, kind of like Jordan Love. But we'll kind of see how the week progresses. As Rob noted too, Jair appeared to be unable to put any weights on his right leg as he hopped off the field. And then there was also another report out there too that Evan Williams' hamstring injury isn't serious. Now, again, what's the definition of serious? I mean, I think we all want to see Evan Williams play against Detroit. So if he's not playing against Detroit, then you're probably like, well, that's serious because I want the guy to play. Now, I think when we hear that it's not serious or anything like that, it's not going to be a long term. It's not going to be multiple weeks. It's not going to be a few weeks, a month or so. But I'm like a lot of you. I would love all three of those guys to be able to play, but not just be available to play, but play at a high level. You're right. I mean, you don't want them going out there, especially Jair and Evan Williams, where they don't have that burst, they don't have that speed, they don't have that change of direction out there, especially at the positions they play, and knowing the team they're going up against with the Lions there. So if they're out there, I hope that they're able to play at a high level. But with the bye week coming up, that is a factor. Now, for what it's worth, Matt LaFleur did say that if Love is cleared, he'll play. They're not really factoring in the bye week after that. Now, that could be typical coach speak. That could just be, he's saying that out there and really not tipping his hand or anything like that. So we'll see how it plays out through the week. It's a waiting game. I hate it. You hate it. We all hate it. I I hate waiting when it comes to injuries and waiting to see who's going to play or that. It doesn't do anything good for my anxiety and nervousness, especially when it leads up to a big game like we have with the Lions coming up here. But that's kind of where we're at. Yesterday, what's trending, as the kids say a little bit on social media. Started to hear you started, Dan Orlovsky was one. You saw Rich Eisen as one over there too. They were watching some clips. I think mostly what Orlovsky might have been watching more of the film out there, but there was a clip kind of, as the kids again say, trending on social media, talking about the wheel route here. And let me play this. This was a question from Pete Daughtry after the game that was posed to Matt LaFleur. So let me just play this here quickly. So the play he is referring to is the pass from Malik Willis to Jaden Reed there. And as Rich Eisen quote tweeted it, "Coach of the Year material here." And what a lot of people are referring to is, I think, the assistant coach Vrabel, who he mentions, passing game coordinator, wide receivers coach, and such. They noticed something. They adjusted. They made the call on the field, even though it wasn't a part of the game plan. It wasn't a part of the reps here. Um, Matt LaFleur was a very popular pick, preseason pick for coach of the year before the season began. He was a popular mention out there. And I think you're starting to hear it more now, and for different reasons. Like, he was mentioned as a possible coach of the year because young roster, obviously a lot of expectations with this young team, the growth of Jordan Love, the growth of the offense from last year. So he was picked there. But now I think that narrative is changing a little bit to where now you're seeing the work he has done with a guy like Malik Willis. I mean, 3-0 in games that Malik Willis has had to essentially close them out. You look at Indianapolis, you look at Tennessee. I'm not going to count the Philadelphia one. I know technically he was the last quarterback on the field there, but Indy, Tennessee, and then comes in for injured Jordan Love in this game against Jacksonville. I don't know if Malik Willis is going to cash in. I know a lot of people are kind of talking about, oh, he's going to be able to cash in and somebody's going to give him a big contract. I don't know if it's all going to play out that way. But you're starting to see this kind of, it's like a tumbleweed starting to gain a little bit more here, and this talk about Matt LaFleur being a coach of the year and that sort of thing. So I guess my question to you Packers fans is, Is there something? What's been the most impressive thing as we're about halfway through this season? Don't want to do second quarter grades or semester break grades until we get to the bye week next week. But when it comes to Matt LaFleur, because he's getting a lot of love from a lot of national peeps right there, a lot of national talking heads for the job that he has been able to do with his team this year. What has been the thing that has impressed you the most? Is there something out there that has impressed you the most? Is it something like that where, hey, this was a plan, this was a play that we didn't work on, it wasn't a part of the game plan, no reps, we just threw it out there because we made an adjustment, and at that, it was a key play. It was a huge play. You don't hit that, you're maybe going to overtime, and then we don't know what's going to happen in overtime. Is it stuff like that? Is it the work he's done with Malik Willis? Is it just how he's involved, getting more, maybe involving the running game more, or is it just something else? Like, what is it that has been so impressive to you? Like, maybe the main thing. If you had to put it at the number one spot, what has been the one thing that has impressed you the most about Matt LaFleur? Now, I think Matt LaFleur is a guy that, when he was first hired, there was some trepidation about him. Well, he only called plays for 1 year in Tennessee. He was offensive coordinator for the Rams, but he didn't call plays. You look at the numbers in Tennessee, offensive rankings and numbers, they weren't great. What are we doing here? Why did we pass up Josh McDaniels or whoever for this guy that we don't know about? And he has that press conference that people were freaking out about, his introductory press conference, like, oh, he's really nervous. That's not a good sign. And then, his first year, he goes to the NFC Championship game, but it's because of Aaron Rodgers. Next year, he goes to the NFC Championship game. Well, it's because of Aaron Rodgers. There was always excuses to be made, even though he won a boatload of games right away as a coach. Well, it was because of Aaron Rodgers, and they had Devontae, and then they actually signed guys in free agency at that time. It was Zadarius, Preston, Adrian, Billy Turner. Didn't really get a lot of the credit. And then it was like, okay, now Aaron's out. We're really going to see how good of a coach Matt is. And it was kind of a phrase like, yeah, now the world's really going to see that maybe that wasn't a great hire, that he's not that great of a coach, that he got lucky because of all the players he had on his roster. Aaron Rodgers helped him win a lot of games, and it wasn't because of Matt LaFleur, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, blah, 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 blah. Well, what does he do? Leads the team to the playoffs last year, and an interception from Jordan Love away, maybe from advancing to the NFC Championship game against the Lions, a team that they went 1-1 against. And I think there would have been people that picked the Packers to win that game. Anybody who still doubts Matt LaFleur, you're kind of running out of excuses. And I'm not saying he's the best coach in the game. I'm not saying he's better than Andy Reid. I'm not saying he's not, number one there. There's still, obviously, he's not perfect. He's not 100%. Not every decision that he makes turns into gold. But I mean, I hope there's not a lot of Packers or many out there that aren't impressed or aren't satisfied with the job that Matt LaFleur has been doing so far this year or throughout his career. I hope there's fans that are still, or that aren't out there, that are still kind of like questioning LaFleur. I mean, it's fine to question certain decisions and maybe certain play calls at certain times, but I really hope that there's not a big chunk of fans out there, and I know it's not going to be 100%, but I hope there's not a big chunk of fans out there that are saying, yeah, LaFleur's overrated. Dude's got to go. We need somebody like this. We need somebody like that. I really hope that there's not fans out there, a lot of them, that are still kind of on that bandwagon. And I guess if you are, why? Like why? Sure. Did he make a wrong decision? Joe Barry? Okay. I'll give you that. Is that worth being fired over though? Just from that decision that, he moved on from Jeff Hafley. Seems to be working out so far. Still kind of early, halfway through his first year in that. But really, that to me, if that's your reason, is just Joe Barry. That it's almost kind of nitpicking. And a lot of coaches kind of did that. I mean, for crying out loud, there was a time when, not that long ago, a few years ago, there was a lot of people saying, Andy Reid, you need to fire Steve Spagnuolo. You need to move on from him. Luckily, it worked out for them because now it's kind of working out. I think what impresses me the most about Matt LaFleur, though, is, and honestly, I almost feel, this is almost, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying sort of thing. But it almost gives the impression like when we've seen Malik Willis in there, does LaFleur kind of go a little bit deeper in his playbook? Does he get a little bit more imaginative? Does he get a little bit more creative? I mean, he definitely focuses on running the football a little bit more and definitely focuses on, more misdirection and a lot more motion to try to confuse defenses and such. And I think that's kind of a staple within a quote unquote Shanahan tree there. But I think what really impresses me the most is the ability to put players in a position to succeed on the offensive side. And I'm just going to say this. Might be a little bit of an overreaction, but, and I don't know the inner workings, but I'm going to make a bold statement here that a lot of people might not agree with. I think if Aaron Rodgers fully bought into Matt LaFleur's offense that he wanted to do, we might have another Super Bowl. I'll just say that if Aaron Rodgers fully bought in and fully committed to 100% the offense that LaFleur wanted to run, I think maybe we would have another Super Bowl. I think Aaron Rodgers would. I mean, I know he won MVPs, which is like, dude, you're nuts, you're crazy. Yeah, he won MVPs, but it's like a what if. What if Aaron just would have bought in? Instead of like LaFleur compromising or doing, 30% of the stuff that LaFleur wanted to do and 70% was still Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it fully wasn't what Aaron wanted to do, but it fully wasn't what LaFleur wanted to do. And I remember, was it last year when we talked about this? And that was kind of the narrative leading into the last season. It was like, okay, now we're finally going to see the LaFleur offense. And we talked to Rob Demovsky, and Rob, had the same process or same thought. But, when you asked LaFleur that, LaFleur didn't like that. He's like, because, and I think it was more of the coach, again, it was kind of coach speak and coach having the back of his players, in this case, maybe some former players and such. But LaFleur would always say, well, what were we running the years before? It was always in his offense. But we could tell it wasn't fully what he wanted to do. Because you saw last year and we're seeing this year, it's completely different. Completely different. And this style of offense, to me, makes it easier for a quarterback to do their job. You can call it a system quarterback then. You can call it whatever you want. That's where I think Brock Purdy gets labeled as that quote-unquote system quarterback, but he plays the system incredibly well, and he's won a boatload of games. A little bit short, yes. But you know what? I also think Patrick Mahomes plays within Andy Reid's system too. We're going to call Patrick Mahomes a system quarterback. I feel like system quarterback gets this negative label to it. Like, it's like you don't want to be called that because that's a bad thing. But if it's a great system and you can play within that system and you have success within that system, isn't that the ultimate goal at that point in time? But the more, like, I was thinking about this the other day. Going back to last year with the offense, and of course there were some growing pains with it with Jordan Love there. But what we saw in that second half and what we've seen a little bit here this year so far, and the difference styles and play of what this offense does compared to what it was in 2020, 2019, 2021, those years, the first couple years of LaFleur and Rodgers, they won a bunch of regular season games. Rodgers won 2 MVPs. It wasn't awful. It wasn't bad. But there's a little bit of me that says, what if? What if Aaron would have fully bought in and said, you know what? Let's run your offense 100% all in. So remember, again, going back, it was like the whole audible debate and all that crap. And it was like, what, because now I'm looking at the Jets, okay? I'm looking at that mess that's on the East Coast right now. You're telling me a team that has Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, those guys. Aaron can still throw. Yes, his legs are not there, but Aaron still got a little zip on that ball. You're telling me that offense can't do anything? It's because the style and the scheme is so outdated. But that's what Aaron wants to do. Why wouldn't you, especially at that point in his career, play in a system, play in a style of offense that makes it easier for you, easier on your job, and maybe even a little bit more dynamic? I wonder. I would really wonder, and he's probably not going to say it now, or maybe when he's done playing and kind of reflects a little bit, will he ever go back and be like, man, if I would have just bought it and maybe made it a little bit easier on myself? Could have been. Now, sure, you could point at defensive miscues and all that, but I'm sure some of you right now, as we're talking about this, you're probably thinking to one particular play when we talk about this offense and stuff that Aaron wanted to do. You're probably thinking about that playoff game against the 49ers in Lambeau Field, where he just chucks it down the field to a double covered Devontae Adams, where there was a wide open Allen Lazard. We saw that quite a bit. What was one of the main things that grinded Packers fans' gears towards the end of Rodgers' career in Green Bay? Just target one guy. He would just hone in on his guys instead of maybe playing within the system. That's why I think a lot of Packers fans right now have that thought process of, we don't need a number one guy. Spread the ball around. And then I'm not trying to make a knock on Devontae or anything like that. Just a fantastic wide receiver, one of the best that we've had in Green Bay. But I think that's part of it, though, too, is like spread the wealth, spread it around instead of just targeting one dude all the time. What else has? So you can tell me if I'm. You can kind of question what's in my coffee mug this morning if my bold statement's like, yeah, no, dude, they wouldn't have. No. It's a what if for me that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days. Like, what if? And I know that bar set just pretty high because the guy did win a couple MVPs and he put up some really good offensive numbers in that. But if Aaron would have just fully bought in and played within this offense that we're seeing from LaFleur right now, would that have been a difference of getting through an NFC Championship game and going to a Super Bowl and maybe winning one more? Or maybe I'm off my rocker on that. But it's going to be a what if for me for a while. And I do wonder if it's going to be a what if for the rest of Aaron's life. What if? And I think we just gotta, there's egos involved in it. Aaron likes to try to diagnose what the defense is going to do instead of, he wants to make the adjustments. He wants to make the changes instead of making it easier on himself, instead of having those can plays. Like that's what LaFleur was talking about. It was a can play with Malik. Get a couple plays get called in there. First play, second play. Can it to the second play. It's a run pass option. Or are you going to do a run option? You're going to do a running play. You're going to do a passing play. Aaron didn't want to do that. Aaron wanted to go up and diagnose it himself and use his brains and his minds and then direct everybody else after that, which led to a lot of seconds. And I know this was another one that grinded the gears of a lot of Packers fans over the years. That play clock just dripping down and they're still trying to adjust and move everything. That's how Aaron wanted to play. He wanted to beat teams with his mind, with his arm. I don't know. It's something that I know I'll probably be thinking about for a long time too. All right, what else is like what's one thing though that or maybe the main thing that has impressed you the most with what you have seen from Matt LaFleur? Because he's getting a little bit more praise right now, a little bit more talk about being coach of the year. At this point, I don't think he's going to. If they did the vote right now, I don't know if he would win it. I think you still got, you look at a guy like Dan Campbell. Dan Quinn's probably going to get a lot of votes here too because of what Washington's doing over there. D'Amico Ryans, I'm sure will get some votes too with the Texans and that. But you know, I it's one of those that I think if they did the vote right now, I don't think he would win. I actually think Dan Quinn would probably get it because of what Washington is doing. But it's good to see that some of the national talking peeps are recognizing the performance or the job that LaFleur is doing right now. So, all right, quick break. We'll be back to finish up first hour after these few words. Tailgate this season with our good friends from Hy-Vee. Maybe you're going to the game this weekend, this Sunday, and you need some supplies over there. Get it all done in one stop, whether it's some apparel. They've got some green and gold apparel for over there for you, whether it's some snacks, maybe some meal for food like Dan Good Burgers, beverages, Man Cave Light, 6-packs over there, whatever the case may be. You can load up those coolers and load up your vehicles for the ultimate tailgating experience with our good friends from Hy-Vee. Tailgate this tailgating season with Hy-Vee. Tim in the Cooley region saying LaFleur's ability to change game plan for 2 very different quarterbacks and be successful. Josh from Colfax saying LaFleur is the best coach in the league. I think with Willis is his ability to take off and run, and I would agree 100% with that statement. I'm assuming, Josh from Colfax, you're talking about the bold statement. If Rodgers fully bought into LaFleur's offensive scheme, would they have a Super Bowl? Would they have another Super Bowl? So something to think about. Coming up just past 7 o'clock, I've got some numbers for you with some Packers players over here. One pretty darn impressive. One just absolutely pathetic. So just it's kind of opposite ends over there. We'll get to that just past 7 o'clock here. Don't forget to send me your Grind My Gears Tuesdays. Best one, I'm going to get you a Packer Backer burger from Princeton Valley Golf Course. That's loaded up with cheese curds and burgers from Mike Star Market and brats from Mike Star Market, to our good friends over there. So text me your Grind My Gears Tuesdays. Best one, I'll select one before the end of the program to win that Packer Backer burger. Also coming up next hour, we'll throw some Bucks chat in here. Bucks, after winning their first game of the season last week, have dropped their last 3, including last night's loss to the Boston Celtics. When you hear Giannis, even before this was before the game, was after a loss against the Nets, say they don't have an identity right now, what's going through your mind? How panicky are you right now when it comes to this team just 4 games in? We'll finish up though with Morgan. How's it going?
Would you consider yourself a cat person?
I mean, we've had cats.
Do you have a cat now?
No.
What was the last cat you had?
Lambo.
Okay. There you go. Let's talk sports cats. It's National Cat Day. I'm a dog person,
Mhm.
but I don't wish cats harm. I get it. Some people are cat people.
Mhm.
They're completely, admittedly, way low maintenance compared to dogs. I have 2 high maintenance dogs. Cats are way easier. You can have a life. You can take trips. I get it. Like, the argument for cats is there, especially if they mouse. Then they're earning their keep.
Mhm.
Then they're functional. Okay, I can't remember the last time my retriever did anything to earn her
I can't
space
stand
in the
litter
house.
boxes though.
I know. I feel like if that wasn't a factor, if they have a clear victory lap.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree. Yep.
So when it comes to cat logos, think about, we're going to go both sports. We're going to go, well, the biggies. We'll go basketball and football, and then we can go pro and collegiate. So like you have Northwestern Wildcats,
Yep.
but Jags just coming off that game. So we have
Yep.
Jaguars, we got the Panthers.
Bengals.
A favorite big cat logo from the pro sector?
For pro football or just pro sports in
Pro
general?
football. We'll start there. Thinking about color scheme.
I'll
Thinking
probably
about
go Bengals. I'll probably
Yeah?
go Bengals. Yeah.
Just color scheme based or as a team?
Yeah, and I like the helmet with just the stripes over there too. So
What do you think of the Commanders' uniforms?
blah?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I was watching the Hail
Very
Mary
blah.
that everybody was talking about, obviously,
Yeah.
and I was like, is it basic classic? Because they're not nearly as flashy as other team unis right now, but I was like,
Yeah.
it kind of works, like that basic black. Then
I think a lot of it has to deal with too, like the name's pretty blah.
Yeah.
So
It feels like they're trying really hard to be neutral. Like and here's the thing. People are on a scavenger hunt to be offended. People
Right.
are going to be offended about anything all day long. Doesn't matter, no matter what.
Right.
That's going to happen.
Yep.
So when you make such a clear effort
Mhm.
to be neutral, I think it almost comes off worse.
Right.
Like
Yep.
you're just trying too hard to stay neutral.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the cats, so you like the Bengals.
Yeah, I can't do Lions. That's in a division. So
Right.
yeah, probably Bengals.
Okay. So then what about collegiate? Because Wildcats, obviously, Northwestern would be
Can't do
nearby.
a Big Ten conference.
Okay.
So that takes Penn State out of it too.
Oh, you got to dig deep then.
well.
Those are the 2 biggies.
Got Kentucky Wildcats. Can't do that. I'm trying to think. Arizona Wildcats. New. Maybe Cincinnati Bearcats. Just because I don't really have a
All right.
affinity towards them.
Okay.
So
So there are no big
Luke
feelings
Fickle
wrapped
came
up in the
from there, I guess.
Bearcats?
Yeah, so maybe Cincinnati Bearcats.
Are there any baseball teams with cat logos? I can't think. Right off the top of my head, it doesn't seem like there are, but there probably is somewhere.
I don't know.
It's not coming to me.
Just the
Um,
little cubbies. That's not a cat, so
mhm.
I don't know. I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right.
Get
Thanks,
back
Laura.
to me, would you?
Yeah. Second hour kicking off right now, you crazy peeps. Appreciate you tuning in wherever, however you're tuning in on this Tuesday morning, the final Tuesday of October. It's not going to feel like October later on today. For crying out loud, fall. Can you just stick around here for a little bit, especially when it comes to my hunting wants? I don't want to go out there when it's 80. I want to go out there when it's cool little fall out there. Well, that's why my trail cams have now all gone silent over there. Man, oh man. But anyways, that's another thing that's probably grinding my gears right now. We're going to get to a little grind my gears at about 7:40, 7:45 here. So what's grinding your gears? Let us know. Hit me up with text 715-830-1912 or a comment on the video streams or hit me up on the socials at DANKASPER. That's on X/Twitter or facebook.com/Casper Sports. That's Casper with a K. People still spell it with a C, but that's been like that for 38 and a half years now. So we got some Badger talk coming up next hour with Mr. RJ Cardinal. We'll recap the loss to Penn State, look ahead to Sunday night's or Saturday night's game against Iowa. Talk a little Bo Ryan. Bo Ryan's going to get his name up in the banners or in the on a banner in the rafters at the Kohl Center as part of a celebration with the Final Four teams when they host Arizona on November 15th. So, okay. What's there? So I kind of tease it a little bit. Plus, we're gonna get to some Bucks chat too. I do want to talk a little Bucks after their loss last night. The Bucks are off to a 1-3 start now. Lost their last 3 games. They fell to the Boston Celtics, who are undefeated right now so far this season. But Bucks fans, are you pushing the panic button right now? Just 4 games into it. Frustrating, annoyed. Where are you at right now with this Bucks team? Okay, let me know. Hit me up. Let's do so. I teased it before the top of the hour. A couple of stats, numbers. One really good, one that's really pathetic, and it's related to the green and gold. Tucker Kraft, who I think is turning into a lot of people's favorite player right now, tight end Tucker Kraft. The dude right now, according to Next Gen Stats, Tucker Kraft is averaging 10.6 yards after contact per reception. A lot of that probably came on that one play from the catch and run there. We know what we're talking about with Jacksonville. Dude just could not take the man down. Gosh, I love Tucker Kraft. But anyways, where I'm going with this with Tucker Kraft, he is averaging 10.6 yards after contact per reception. That is first, number 1, top 2, not 2, among all pass catchers in the NFL. All pass catchers in the NFL. Tucker Kraft, 10.6 yards after contact per reception. Number 1. And that's a minimum of 20 catches because you got to put a minimum on this thing. So that's the good one. The absolute pathetic one. Edge pressure percentage. We're talking the defensive ends here. Those pass rushers. We're still in a 3-4. Talking about the outside linebackers. The top 4 for Green Bay are defensive ends there. Edge pressure percentage. Your top ones, and we're going to go minimum 115 snaps, 61 qualifiers. This was from Justice Masquada on Twitter there. Rashawn Gary's 23rd in the league out of 61 qualifiers. 13.5%. The next 3 are all in the 50s. We're talking about 61 qualifiers, and our next 3 pass rushers are in the 50s, ranked in the 50s. Preston Smith's at 54, is ranked 54, 7.5%. Lucas Van Ness, 7%, ranked 55. And Kiki Kingsley Enagbare, ranked 58th at 6.8%. Out of 61 qualifiers, 3 out of the 4 are in the mid to late 50s rank. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. diving into it a little bit deeper here. So Rashawn Gary, I know we've been hard on Rashawn Gary. He's put together a couple of nice performances in back-to-back weeks here, leading, teams in pressures and such. I will say that about Rashawn Gary. Got off to maybe a little bit of a slow start. No, I shouldn't say a little bit. He did get off to a slow start the first few weeks of the season. Last couple weeks, he's been better. He's been better. The one thing, too, that he has been pretty darn good at, according to ESPN's Next Gen Stat, the ESPN stats over there, edge run stop win rate. So the edge rushers, the ends that are tops in stopping the run. Rashawn is ranked eighth best in the league according to ESPN at run stop. Okay. That's pretty much it. What we could take home from our edge rushers, pass rushers. It's not even close. So a lot of people saying trade Rashawn Gary. Rashawn Gary, it's not even close, is the best edge rusher and whatever you want to call it in this defense compared to everybody else. It's not even close. He's a top 10 run defender. And I guess at this point, top 25 in terms of pressure rate going after the quarterback. What about defensive tackles? This actually surprised me a little bit. This is according to, again, ESPN Analytics. Defensive tackles pass rush win rate. There is a Packer on here. And he's ranked 16th. Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's on there, 16th. Defensive tackle pass rush win rate. Another guy that we've been pretty hard on the first few weeks. But according to advanced analytics, he is 16th in defensive tackle pass rush win rates. Okay, we've seen him get in the backfield quite a bit, maybe a little too quick at times there. And then when we look at defensive tackles run stop win rates, we got another Packer in the top 10, but it's not Kenny Clark. It's TJ Slaton. TJ Slaton actually comes in at number 8 on this. So just throwing those out there because we've got the trade deadline coming up here. And I know we asked this, was it last week or maybe the week prior or such? But if there was a move that you would like to see Green Bay make before the trade deadline, no, and it's probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. What would that position be? Again, I think it's clearly pass rusher. It's not going to be Max Crosby, though, because Davis said absolutely not. It's not happening. They're not trading Max Crosby. Highly doubt it's going to be Myles Garrett. So, I mean, where else? If I'm just using the top 20, these numbers, these edge rush, spit it out, Dan. Edge, pass, rush, win rate rankings. I don't see a lot of these guys being on the trading block. Aiden Hutchinson, no, and he's done. Myles Garrett, I don't think it happens. Trey Hendrickson, I don't think it happens either. Jared Verse, he's a rookie, no. Chicago's Darrell Taylor. Chicago ain't trading. Daniel Hunter, Houston, no, they ain't trading him. Brian Burns, the Giants, they just acquired him. Would they do it? Doubt it. Max Crosby, no. Will Anderson Jr., Houston ain't trading him. Nick Bosa, ain't happening. Kyle Van Noy, Baltimore, probably not. Playoff team, TJ Watt, pipe dream. Andrew Van Ginkel, not happening. Minnesota ain't going to trade him. Maybe Arden Key from Tennessee. Tennessee's kind of been moving on from some peeps over there. But would he fit with this style? You got Jonathan Cooper of Denver, but Denver's right now a playoff team. Carl Granderson from New Orleans is at number 20. I don't know what New Orleans thinks about their division. Do they still think they've got a shot over there? I just the pickings may be a little bit slim if we want a guy that's really, really, really going to improve the pass rush for Green Bay. One guy on here too. I mean, he's a top 10 in run, but he's got 5 sacks this year. Is It's Derek Hall, but again, that's Seattle. Seattle's in a fight for their division, so they ain't going to trade any of their guys. So the pickings are going to be a little bit slim. I know some people have thrown out there Zadarius Smith, but he really didn't have a whole lot of positive stuff to say when Green Bay moved on from him. I don't know if he'd be happy about that or not. Who knows? Maybe a few years from now, it's kind of calmed down, and maybe he'd welcome that, especially if you're moving on to a playoff caliber team. Again, I don't feel like Green Bay is going to do it, but if there was a move, for the love of that all is good, if there was a move to be made, please try to get another pass rusher, because right now, at this point, Rashawn Gary needs help. We talked about a couple weeks ago, Rashawn Gary's getting the chips and the double teams right now. It's because the other guys aren't winning. The other guys are stinking it up right now and not doing enough. So Zadarius Smith's name, I'm looking on NFL.com, and they got their trade, deadline, which players are available, and leading up to next week. Zadarius is mentioned on there. They said Myles Garrett, not going to happen. New England just traded one of their edge rushers to Kansas City. Kansas City's fully on in right now. As a fan, I'll just say this. As a fan, straight up fan, yeah, I hope Green Bay makes a move to acquire an edge rusher, another pass rusher. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. But they need it. And right now, not to get into draft talk, I think it's pretty clear what their top need, or one of their top needs, is. It's finding another pass rusher. I honestly feel like this is Preston Smith's final year in Green Bay. But those numbers, oof, those are kind of pathetic. They're pretty pathetic when it comes to pass rush win rate. When it comes to your ends over there, yeesh, yikes, and especially too, if Jair's going to miss some time and Evan Williams is going to miss some time, and you're not quite sold on Carrington or Eric Stokes being the next man up, and you're kind of flip-flopping back and forth there, make it easier. Get the pass rush going. It's just not working. All right, we got to take a quick break. Switching gears here just for a little bit. I want to talk some Bucks. Bucks fans, I want to hear from you. Okay, what are your thoughts on this 1-3 start with this Bucks team dropping their last 3 games? I mean, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, okay, Boston, get it on the road. Boston defending champs 4-0. But 2 games prior, yeesh. Look at last night's game. It was like the Bucks just decided to play 3 quarters. Again, couldn't defend the 3 against Pritchard. Pritchard was on one last night coming off the bench. But we'll talk a little hoops here as we're 4 games into this Bucks season. Coming up after these quick words. With it being Halloween coming up here in a couple days, is one thing freaking you out, scaring you in your home? Is it that old carpet, that old flooring? Every time you turn the corner to go in your living room or your kitchen, you're freaked out because it's been forever since that flooring has been replaced. It's time to change. Go visit our good friends at Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire and start the process of getting that new floor in your home, whether it is carpet, whether it's luxury vinyl planks, or maybe what's really freaking you out is the old, banged up shower tiles over there. And like, dude, I got to get these updated. Carpet City Flooring Center can help you out over there as well. Just give them a visit. All right, go talk with the awesome team at Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire, and they'll work with you to find something that not only looks great, functions the best, but works within your budget too. 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire. Carpet City Flooring Center. Don't let those floors, don't let those shower tiles freak you out, scare you anymore. Every time you turn the light on in the middle of the night when you gotta go to the bathroom, the shower tiles right there. And it's like, oh, it gives you a little jump. No, I know we're in the spooky season. Don't let that spook you out anymore. Okay. Let's catch up on a couple texts here this morning. We've got Jason chiming in. Bring back Coach Bud. This team has gotten old fast. Years of non-producing drafts have hurt as well. And then with Rodgers, despite his, quote, best throw of the football status, Rodgers has proven to be a prima donna. We all knew it when he was our guy, but his individual talent kept us drinking the Kool-Aid. Too many big moment failures. You know, the Rodgers legacy aura is going to be an interesting conversation when we get to that point and throughout the years here too, because something changed. Something's different. I don't know if it was just the success got to the head. Success, breeds that uber ego confidence or whatever. But one thing's for sure, there's no Aaron Rodgers may be the most talented thrower of the football, one of the most talented quarterbacks we have ever seen. But you look at, this point in his career and that he ain't no Tom Brady and he ain't no Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning wasn't that great of a talent towards the end of his career, but at least he still won games and won a Super Bowl. And I don't know. You look at what's happening this season. I'll kind of wipe away last year because he got hurt. How much does that affect the good old legacy debate? I'm sure a lot of people are going to be having that talk at some point in time. So, Coach Bud, though, Bucks fan, remember, he was a guy that a lot of Bucks fans were kind of irritated with, not happy with, wanted to see gone. Well, he was gone. And right now, the Bucks, they go with Griffin to replace him, and then it's Doc Rivers again, a hiring that a lot of people, a lot of Bucks fans didn't really care for at that point in time. But right now, this Bucks team, I'm not panicking right now. I'm not pushing that big old red panic button and saying doom and gloom. But it's definitely not the start. It's definitely not the start that I was hoping for, or I wanted a fast start. And, yep, drank the Kool-Aid a little bit after game one, beating the 76ers. Like, that's the Dame that we were wanting to see last year. That's the connection between Dame and Giannis. Awesome. I know there was no Paul George and Joel Embiid, but that's the Dame. That's what we wanted to see. And here we are, almost a week later, and it's like, well, what the crap? What's going on right now with this team? Last night I think we all knew it was going to be a tough test to go into Boston and pick up a win. And the Bucks, I thought, it started off good. I mean, it was a back and forth in that first half, but the third quarter, and it's been like that for the last few years. It's like one quarter where the Bucks just go blah. And you can't do that against a lot of teams in this league, but especially a team against like Boston. And I mean, you had Pritchard going just off last night, and I get it. You're going to run into those buzzsaws when it comes to basketball and such. And he was on one last night. I mean, you just kind of have to tip your cap at that point when he was on fire from three. I mean, coming off the bench. And Peyton Pritchard is one of those guys. He reminds me of that college basketball player that's been around for a long time, and he just kind of annoys you. Peyton Pritchard's kind of like that for me at the NBA level. But 28 minutes, 8 of 12 from three, 10 of 14 overall, 28 points. When you have a guy like that can come off the bench and do that. Jaylen Brown, 10 of 19, 0 for 4 from three, but still put up 30 points. Got to the line 14 times. It was a night that Tatum just put up 15. Drew Holiday went off against his former team, 4 of 7 from three. He finished with 21 points in the game. Bucks last night, though, just 25, a little over 25% from three. 8 of 31. Dame did his thing, 33 points, 7 dimes. Giannis, double-double, 30 and 10. Also 6 assists. After that, you're kind of looking around. Brook Lopez defensively, solid, 4 blocks, just 13, though, on the offensive points. And there's no bench production. I mean, you look at Boston, they had 30 points coming off the bench, but 28 came from Pritchard. But you look at the Bucks bench, Portis, your main guy, just 4. Pat gave you 5. Andre Jackson Jr., who picked up some quick fouls right away in the first half, he gave you 4. So outside of Giannis and Dame, not a ton of offensive production from any of those guys. And it was kind of frustrating. It was kind of frustrating to watch because, you look at first, okay, here we go. But getting cold in that third quarter. That third quarter, it was like they came out at the half and it's like, ugh. So I'm not pushing that panic button yet. I'm not doing it there yet. But there's no doubt this team they've got to, Giannis before the game, this was after the Nets game, he's out there saying we got to find an identity. We don't have an identity right now. And he was kind of talking about what is it defense? Is it offense? What's our identity? And I feel like that was the conversation last year. What's the identity of this team? You make up the excuse. It's like, okay, switch coaches, you're kind of changing it here and there. But we had a full off season of Doc and a full off season with Dame, and guys were playing in the Olympics and such, including Giannis. But I feel like what's going to happen now from a national sense, you're going to get annoyed by it, but from a national sense, you're going to start to hear more talk about, well, this is what we've been saying. This is what we've been saying, leading into the into this regular season. All eyes are on the Bucks. And if they don't play that well, teams are going to look at it and teams are going to start saying, hey, we got a shot at Giannis. Giannis is going to leave. Those calls and those talking points are just going to get louder and louder and louder. It's just the way the national piece work, the talking heads work. But definitely, I don't know if Middleton would make all the difference in the world, because the thing is when Middleton comes back, he's probably going to be eased on in. That, they're not going to all right, Middleton's back 30 minutes a game. Probably not going to do that. So I don't want to overreact too much to this game. Pritchard went off. He was fantastic from three in a night that the Bucks were cold as all get out from three. There's no moral victories. I sure, there's moral victories in some instances and some examples, but for me, I don't think on a night like for a team like the Bucks, I don't know if there is such a thing as moral victories. I really don't. When you've got a team that has championship aspirations, championship goals, it's that or nothing. I don't know if you can use the moral victory reasoning right now. I don't think you can do that. I know we're only a few games in as we approach the first week of the season here, but this is kind of where things are stacking up for the Bucks here. So when we look at offensive leaders, points per game, it's Boston, 124.3. Milwaukee is just outside the top 10. They're averaging 114 points per game. You know, some of your other top teams, Golden State, Cleveland, Memphis, Sacramento, the Lakers. So, okay, yeah, Milwaukee at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're 11th. Just ahead of the Phoenix Suns, who are at 113.8. 3-point percentage, Boston's number 1. Boston's your top team. Milwaukee is towards the bottom. So Boston is averaging 42.8% from 3. They shoot a lot of threes. Milwaukee, 33.3. We're talking almost a 10% difference. Now, I know Boston's up there because you got Cleveland is at 41. Golden State's third at 38.3. Now, when we factor field goal percentage overall, Bucks move up to number 3. Defensive. Let me take a look at some of these defensive stuff over here. So we've got. Come on, computer, work out for me. Okay, points allowed per game. We talk about defense, right? Where do the Bucks stack up? Not great defensively in points allowed per game. You're talking about towards the bottom here. The only teams worse than the Bucks in points on defensive points per game: Toronto, Chicago, Utah, Atlanta, Memphis, Washington. Milwaukee is averaging 119 points giving up per game. Field goal percentage. Opponents' field goal percentage are about middle of the pack here. 3-point percentage. Yeah, they're toward the bottom of the third there. And again, it's last year we talked about it was defense. Adrian Griffin comes in, he's a defensive-minded head coach. And then you make the move to Doc Rivers, and you're kind of changing things up. And then the Bucks, you know, they made moves with their coaching staff. We knew that they weren't going to make a ton of big splash moves in free agency and such. But they bring back Darvin Ham, which I thought was a fantastic hire. I still think it's a fantastic hire. But they also bring in Greg Buckner, who was kind of brought in to be, he's an associate head coach for the Bucks, but a defensive-minded head coach. Like, there's a lot of talk like, okay, that's a big get. Like, Doc Rivers wanted him when he was in Philadelphia and such. But right now, we're not seeing it. We're not seeing this difference here. And Buckner spent the last 40 years with Cleveland. And again, noted as kind of a defensive-minded head coach there. And we're just not seeing that yet. Again, interior defense, sure. Brook Lopez, you got the length, you got the size. And it was the one thing that was concerning me with this team is if they play a team that shoots from the outside a lot, Boston, a team that can get out and transition, run up and down the court, how would that defense fare? As Jason, one of our texters, said, noted earlier, it's an older team. It's a team that got old quick. Is this a team that can hang with the current style of the NBA? Teams that want to get out and transition, teams that want to shoot from the outside. I mean, if we're playing 90s hoops, then okay, this team's, yeah, you got her. I still got questions about the defense and if it's the right defensive team to compete for championships in this league. That's my biggest concern going still at this point in time for this Bucks team. They can score. They got guys that can score, but do they got guys that are willing defenders? Outside defenders. Not Brooks a willing defender down low. Giannis is a good defensive player down low. But do they have those perimeter defenders right now? I want to see that. I want to see some guys that want to play defense, that are willing to go out there and play some physical perimeter defense. All right, time for Grind My Gears. We got to take a quick break. Last call for any Grind My Gears. Best one, I'm going to get you a free Packer Backer Burger from Mike from Princeton Valley. All right, text those on over 715-830-1912. Quick break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. If you're just waking up this morning, or maybe you're up and at it, but it's you haven't had breakfast yet, not sure where to go, not sure where to pick up, go visit our good friends VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue. If you didn't get your Victory Monday taco omelets or your breakfast meals from yesterday, still got time to go do that today. There's nothing special. I'm just saying, kind of VFW Post. They started a little bit of a thing a couple weeks ago with the Victory Monday taco omelet delivery over there. So I mean, maybe we got something going on there, peeps. But anyways, if you're looking for some breakfast, or maybe you're trying to think about some dinner plans, or already eyeing up a Friday fish fry, go check out our good friends at the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue. Fantastic people over there. Can't beat that view. It's We were just there again the other day, having a meal and such. So, or if you're looking for somewhere to watch the game in that, VFW Post 305. And then Friday, you can join them for a night of karaoke and Halloween party starting at 9 p.m. Drink specials and prizes all evening long, with the best group costumes receiving a $50 gift certificate, and the best individual costume winning a $25 gift certificate. So that's coming up at the VFW Post 305 again on Star Avenue. All right, it is an ASAP Used Auto Parts Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears? Before we get to that, ASAP Used Auto Parts, it's that time of the year where gotta start thinking about See, I can't spell SNOW, even though today it's like shorts and tee weather. But eventually, I think we're gonna get snow here in Wisconsin. And if that's the case, you want to make sure your vehicle is ready to do battle against some snow-covered roads here in Wisconsin. And that's making sure that your tires are up for that challenge. And if you need some new tires, or you're not quite sure if it's getting close, you can make your appointment at ASAP Used Auto Parts. Get some new tires from ASAP Used Auto Parts, the best deals in the Chippewa Valley. Also, want to make sure that oil change, your oil is up to date. They can do that too. So ASAP Used Auto Parts, not only your go-to place when it comes to saving some money on some high-quality used auto parts, they're your go-to place when it comes to getting some new tires and getting that oil change. I got a few. I've got a few grind my gears for us here this morning. So first off, I already talked a little bit about it, but what's grinding my gears is Packers pass rush. Now, again, we were pretty hard, and I think it was fair. We were questioning what was going on with Sean Gary in the first few weeks of the season. Pretty quiet. But I also think it's, we got to acknowledge the last couple of weeks have been better. Has he racked up sacks? No. But he's been better at pressures, getting after the quarterback, and he's been grading out really well against the run. So even though the first few weeks of the season it was pretty quiet and we were questioning it, and again, I think it was fair to question it, got to give him credit. He's been doing better in the last couple weeks. But outside of him, there's nothing. There is nothing. Preston Smith, Lucas Van Ness, Kingsley Nagbare, we need more. And if the secondary is going to be banged up here, I don't know for how long, but I'm looking at this team or this game coming up against Detroit. And Jared Goff, who has been, I'm going to use this word and it's going to sound like a knock, but it's not, pretty darn efficient. I mean, he's been pretty darn good back there. And if this secondary is going to be banged up, if we're not going to have Jair and we're not going to have Evan Williams, the pass rush needs to come to play. And I know it's going to be tough going up against the Lions offensive line, but for crying out loud, we might have to bring the heat and we might have to try to rattle Jared Goff, and he gets the ball out quick. Got to give him credit. He can get it out quick, and he's got some weapons to get it out quick to. Amon St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Got Gibbs in the backfield. Got Montgomery too, but the pass rush is going to have to show up, in my opinion, a little key to victory going up against Detroit, especially if Jair is not going to play and Evan Williams isn't going to play. But that's grinding my gears right now. We got the trade deadline coming up next week. It's a week from today. week from today, if Green Bay is going to make a move, which I don't think they will, but if they are going to make a move for all that is good and gravy in this world, please make a move to acquire a pass rusher. Please make a move to go out there and acquire somebody that can get after the quarterback. My next grind my gear, the Yankees. Just as a casual baseball fan, you looked at this World Series, Ohtani, Judge, Soto, Mookie Betts, star power. You look at the franchises. I wanted a series that maybe we were going to be talking about for years to come. Had the star power on there. Would it live up to that hype? Game 1, it sure looked like it. You go to extra innings and you have Freddie Freeman hitting a walk-off home run. Or walk-off grand slam. A perfect start to this World Series that has come in with so much hype and so much star power. And then after that, it's just Yankees haven't done anything. And right now, the Dodgers could sweep it tonight. Dodgers win tonight, it's a sweep. Doesn't live up to the hype, doesn't live up to the expectations. Whether you're a Yankees fan or a Dodgers fan or you hate both of them, as a baseball fan, I just wanted a really good series. And games, I get it. I understand it was a 4-2 loss in that, but I wanted this to extend to 7. I wanted some iconic moments like Game 1. Freddie Freeman's been awesome. It's been, unless you really hate the Dodgers, but it's been fun to watch Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman's a guy I can root for. I know he's on the Dodgers and such, but you kind of know Freddie Freeman and you know his story and you've a lot over the years and such. Freddie Freeman's a guy I can root for. I don't have a problem with Freddie Freeman. So he's been just lights out in this World Series. 3 home runs, home run in each game. If the Dodgers win tonight, I don't know who else would win MVP at this point in time for the World Series. So he's been good. He's been awesome to watch. But overall, I'm grind my gears towards the Yankees. Show up and win some games now, for crying out loud. Aaron Judge, where you at? Where you at, man? My next grind my gear, I'm going to go to the Carolina Panthers here and one particular player, J.C. Horn. So I'm sure some of you and I don't always want to back up Sean Payton because I've got some issues with Sean Payton over the years, but J.C. Horn had some words for Sean Payton after the game, accusing Sean Payton of trying to run the score up. And this was in the fourth quarter. Broncos were up 28-7. Broncos ran 2 trick plays. First one was unsuccessful. It was a field goal. Fake field goal, excuse me. And then they ran a double pass on a 4th and 2 with Bo Nix throwing a short pass to wide receiver Cortland Sutton before Sutton threw the ball down the field to Michael Burton for a first down. So J.C. Horn took offense to it. The final score of this game was 28-14. But J.C. Horn took offense to it, saying they were running up the score. Sean Payton said, listen, I said it Sunday night, we're trying to finish the game the right way. We're not trying to run up the score on anyone. It's the NFL. I've been in games with a 28-point lead in the fourth, and we lost. So we're trying to finish. His response was to Carolina and J.C. Horn, play better. I don't disagree with Sean Payton. I don't disagree with Sean Payton. I think there's a lot of frustration going on with a lot of players and a lot of people with the Carolina Panthers right now, to where something like that frustration probably boiled over. They're losing a game again. They've only won 1 this year. Things aren't going well. You start to see the frustration boil. We saw it with Diggs, with the Cowboys after the game, confronting a reporter after the game who called out his effort. Cowboys lost that game. If Cowboys win that game, he's probably not going out and confronting that reporter. That frustration for some of these players is boiling over for teams that are struggling, for teams that are not winning. But J.C. Horn, you were in the wrong there. we talk about it that we want to see our teams all gas, no brakes, right? That seems to be a common theme among so many teams out there. All gas, no brakes. Don't let up. Don't let teams back in. I don't have a problem. I don't think Sean Payton did anything to run up the score against the Carolina Panthers of all teams. So, JC, I get it. The frustration's there, but dude, no. Got to cool it, man. Those are my grind my gears. Last call for any of them. Again, we'll go through some of them coming up in the next hour, and I'll get you. I'll pick one to get one of those backer burgers from Princeton Valley Golf Course. I only got 2 minutes to the top of the hour before I get cut off here. So coming up next hour, we got RJ Cardinal. We're going to talk Badgers. We'll talk some Badger football. Badgers falling to Penn State, although maybe gave us a little bit of false hope going into halftime, coming out of halftime. Recap that. Take a look at Saturday's night game against Iowa. Talk some hoops. Badgers going to be honoring Bo Ryan, lifting his name up into the rafters in a game against Arizona, where they'll be honoring the Final Four teams on November 15th. Talk some Badger hockey, volleyball as well over there too. So we got that coming up here as well. And any more of your I'll grind my gears. I just blanked over there because I know that shot clock's coming over here. So text those grind my gears. That's the easiest way, quickest way to get them on over on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. We'll get to, before we get to RJ, we'll probably get back to a little Packers talk too, in case you missed the first hour. Get you some updates on if they, on some of the latest injuries, and got some good news. Got some good news when it comes to the Packers injury report, or updates or reports out there. Doesn't necessarily mean all the guys are going to play on Sunday against the Lions, but long term, they got some news or good news. So we'll hit that up in case you missed it. 2 in. We got one more to go here. Fire up that texting line, peeps. I want to hear from you. Okay? I want to hear from you. What's on your mind this morning? Let me know. 715-830-1912. Quick break. We'll be back. Final hour on this Tuesday morning. What up, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in however you're tuning in. We got some Badger chat coming up here in about 15 minutes with Mr. Cardinal. We're going to talk some football. We'll talk some hoops. We'll talk some hockey with RJ. Badgers got Iowa Saturday night game. Saturday night game coming off that loss against Penn State, homecoming. We'll talk a little hoops too and hockey as we mentioned with him there. So lots of Badger chat coming up here in just a little bit. Still taking some of your grind my gears. Dave's got a couple of them. Missed this one a little bit earlier from Dave, but Dave saying grind my gears. Morgan's report of the Asian carp in the Chippewa River. I was afraid that would happen. Also, that number 44 from Penn State, he was a Badger wrecking ball. Some good ones there from Dave. So might have to talk to Jake, our good buddy Jake, DNR Warning Thursday, about that report. Get some details on that too. So be a good question for Jake on Thursday. I'll have to make a note of that over there too. So before we get into it a little bit more, I want to remind you, if you're a youth team or a sports team and you're looking for some new apparel, some new jerseys or whatever the case may be, Residence Branding Company is your place to go to. But check this out now too. If you are a boss, you're an employer, and maybe you're looking for some new shirts, or maybe you're looking for some items for your employees, tumblers, whatever the case may be over there, Residence Branding Company can help you with that as well. And from now until November 15th, okay, if you make a purchase, make an order with Residence Branding Company, and you mention my name, they'll take 10% off any of your orders for part of a Christmas order. So, but from now until November 15th, when you give a shout out to Residence Branding Company, you can place an order, whether maybe you're getting some new shirts for your employees, or maybe you're looking for some Christmas gift ideas for your employees, or again, if you're a sports team looking for some new jerseys and such, or new shirts, or maybe you want to set up an online shop for your fans to order some stuff, just mention my name and they'll give you 10% off. Find people at Residence Branding Company over there. So I just ordered some new stuff off the Swag Cave. That link, you need it, send it on over. Got a Scotty Sportsman hoodie, sweet logo over there that was created by Residence Branding Company. Got a Man Cave Podcast t-shirt over there too, For the Love of the Game t-shirt that I'm currently wearing right now. So if you're on the video stream, got that as well. So good stuff from our good friends at Residence Branding Company. All right. Let's get back to a little Packers chat here this morning. So in the first hour, we kind of went through some of the latest reports and updates. Nothing officially official. Okay. Nothing's officially official here. But the Packers, at least it seems like they've got some good news when it came to some reports yesterday with their injured players. So let's start with the main one, Jordan Love. MRI apparently revealed nothing major, that it's a strain, and a lot of it's going to depend on, his availability for Sunday is going to depend on how the week goes, how he's feeling, treatment, all that sort of stuff. But there is the possibility he can play. And some reports say there's the hope he can play against the Lions on Sunday. So, knock on wood. That's good. Jair Alexander, we found out late yesterday morning he was going to have an MRI with his knee. He was a player that we saw the final defensive play, limping off the field, couldn't really put any weight on that knee. Apparently the MRI didn't show any major damage. Don't know exactly what's going on here, but it sounds like, they're going to see how the pain goes for this week. I don't have a good feeling of him playing on Sunday, but again, we'll see. We'll get our first glimpse tomorrow at practice and specifically on Thursday and Friday and such. But boy, it would be nice to have him out there going up against Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then Evan Williams, there was a report too with his hamstring that it's nothing long-term, nothing serious. And even potentially could play on Sunday against the Lions. So, I mean, three very important, three key players. It sounds like, again, the Packers have dodged a bullet. in terms of what could have been, injuries, long term, season ending, that sort of stuff. There is no guarantee all three of those players will play on Sunday against the Lions. I think a lot of us would agree, though, if they're healthy and they're not limited in their ability to play, like, Jair, if he still has his change of a direction, still has his speed and all that, and he's good to go, play him out there. But if they're not, I don't think you can afford it. But if they're ready to go and they're cleared and they can play at a high level, boy, we could use them. I would love them going up against Detroit. They're gonna need it. They're gonna need like all hands on deck going up against Detroit here in this big time battle for the NFC North. We won't find out anymore today. We'll have to see the first glimpse again when they return to the practice field tomorrow to prepare for the Lions. So we'll definitely talk more about that game coming up as the week kind of flows on by here. So I know kind of getting anxious, kind of getting nervous for this matchup. I'm getting pumped for the matchup. I'm also nervous for the matchup. I mean, this is got Green Bay. They had a test against Houston. They passed that one, but I think this is fair to say that this is probably their toughest test, and maybe the toughest test they'll have for the rest of the season here too, until they play Detroit again. Saw this Dan Campbell, head coach for the Lions, his message to his players as they prepare for the Packers. Shoes. That's the message. The right shoes. We're going to Lambeau. It's grass. Nationally televised game. 325 Central for the division. It just doesn't get any better than this. What else do I need to say? Yeah. I mean, I like it. I know he's the opponent this week, and that team's the opponent in this week, but yeah, can't get any better than this, right? Tom Brady's going to be on the call, for crying out loud. I mean, you're going to get to hear him maybe for the first time for a lot of Packers fans if you haven't heard him call a game yet. But for the division, leading into the bye week at the halfway mark, big time matchup, big time game. This is why we love sports here too. So we were talking a little bit too about Matt LaFleur a little bit earlier, and it sure seems like now, like he was a popular pick preseason for coach of the year candidates. And it seems like now he's getting more of the talk. He's getting a little bit more of that talk. And I think a lot of it is for different reasons. It's for the job that he has done with Malik Willis. And I saw Andrew Brandt. We went through some tweets, Ned, and I just saw Andrew Brandt tweeted this out too. I know I have some Packers bias, but Matt LaFleur is 3-0 playing all or part of games with a quarterback who the Titans didn't want and traded away 2 months ago for a ham sandwich. Organizations and coaches matter. There's so many examples of this. And yet so many teams get it wrong, it feels like. There's coaching still matters in pro sports. I know once in a while they'll be talking about it's like, okay, which sport is the coach that doesn't matter the most, right? You've probably all heard of a segment on that, or you read a blog about it, or you've maybe even talked about it. Like, okay, if we have to rank the sports where the coach doesn't matter, because we've seen, I mean, for crying out loud, hockey, they'll let a coach go after a few weeks. We saw it last year with the Bucks. They'll let a coach go halfway through the season in his first year. They're quick to pull the trigger with coaching. Baseball, they'll switch managers left and right. But I think I think that kind of pollutes the mindset a little bit. Does coaching really matter that much? Is it just the players? There's so many examples, I think, still out there where coaching matters. Putting players in the right position. again, a phrase I like to use, putting players in a position to succeed, at a high level, not just for them, not just for the player, but for the team overall. And that's one thing too that in the first hour I asked, what's one thing or what's the main thing that has impressed you the most about Matt LaFleur? And a lot of you talked about, his adjustments, his game planning and such. I think I'd throw one in there and that would be, and I know that's not the case for everything because some people are like, well, you didn't learn from this and learn from that. Learning from some of his mistakes. So like when we go back to when we were preparing for Malik Willis, and we had Rob Domofsky on that week too, and I asked him this question because Matt LaFleur had talked about it in the offseason and such, going back to that first start for Jordan Love against Kansas City when Rodgers was out with COVID. And Matt LaFleur still talked about how it kind of grinded his gears. It kind of bugged him and how he prepared or how he got Jordan ready in the game plan. Like he essentially, I think what he was saying was he really handcuffed him and didn't really allow him to go out there and play football. And he learned from that. And, my question was with Malik Willis, did he learn from that? Did he learn from that? Was he going to be more creative? Was he going to, allow Malik Willis essentially to go play football and play the quarterback position? I think we know that answer. He learned from that and he adjusted from that. And he's continuing to do that as a coach. He's continuing to grow, I think, as a coach as well. The ultimate prize we know is a championship, is winning that Super Bowl. And so until they get that, you're always chasing that. And there's always going to be questions about you as a coach if you don't get to that, right? There's questions surrounding that with for some around Kyle Shanahan. He's getting there, but he's hasn't got it. There's questions like that for Andy Reid for the longest time. Until you get that championship, until you get that Super Bowl. But I think one of the things too, and the list is quite a bit for me. I don't know if I can myself put it down to just one thing that impresses me the most about Matt LaFleur. But one of the things that I think I would put out there is he sure seems like, okay, I was wrong about this. That didn't work. He's learning and he's adjusting. And he does a really good job, I think, of putting players in a position to be their best. And it's not just for the players' benefit. It's for the team overall team benefit. You put your players in a position to succeed, they'll succeed, which in turn makes your team succeed. It's that simple. Yet there's so many coaches that don't do it. Whether it's ego or whether it's just, I know I had this with when Barry was defensive coordinator and such, it just felt like, why aren't we doing this with certain players when it feels like, okay, they're not the best at that? Why aren't we putting them in a position to where they can affect games? And I don't know why some coaches still don't do that. A lot of it is like quarterbacks, right? When teams bring in a quarterback and they try to make a quarterback do what they're not good at or what they're not best at, and you're limiting that quarterback. We see that a lot with mobile quarterbacks. So you got to give credit to like Baltimore. They didn't just say, okay, we're drafting Lamar Jackson. We're just going to, okay, Lamar, no more running. You're going to be straight back, drop back and throw. They embraced that. They changed their offensive scheme around that to fit that. I mean, they went from Joe Flacco, who was like the complete opposite, to Lamar. I don't get why more teams don't do that. Is it just straight up ego? All right, let's take a quick break here. Switching gears, and we're going to talk some Badgers with Mr. Cardinal. Plenty to catch up on. Badger football falling to Penn State on homecoming. They've got a night game with Iowa coming up here. We got some hockey. We got some hoops to chat. RJ's up next after these quick words.
might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
There's no margin for error. And I'm not talking about this show. I'm talking about the NFL. No margin for error because one mistake can change the outcome of a game. Science proves quality sleep can help boost reaction time, recovery time, and overall athletic performance. As the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL, Sleep Number's mission: provide players with the data and insights to optimize their sleep for the ultimate competitive edge. You can have the same thing exclusively at your local Sleep Number store. Go in there, ask about your Sleep Number setting. Mine, 75. Sleep plays such an important role in recovery, and we are all unique in what we need from our bed. Also, perfect bed for couples because you can individualize each side. 8 out of 10 NFL players have a Sleep Number smart bed. Game-changing sleep is life-changing, exclusively at your local Sleep Number store. Find Sleep Number smart beds at every price point, only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com/Patrick. Sleep Number, official, crucial catch partner of the NFL.
Well, the fall sports season is in full swing right now. Are you a little banged up or have you suffered an injury that you need to get checked out? Whether you're a high school or college athlete or a weekend warrior still playing the game you love, injuries happen. But just know the team at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine are there to help you get back into the game. You're treated with top-of-the-line care, and they are with you and explaining every step of the process with you so that you know and understand what type of care you're receiving. Hey, start feeling better. Visit cvosm.com to get started.
It's just easy, no mysteries, no secrets.
Tell us what you love about him.
No assumptions. I found a guy that's easy to be with.
It's natural to be a little nervous giving jewelry.
But you should never feel that way shopping for it.
If we're together, it's great. If he's traveling for work, that's also fine. It's easy to be with him. I just keep coming back to that word.
At Lasker Jewelers, we train our team on asking, listening, and uncovering just the right ring.
Or other precious thing.
We don't get caught up in that stuff. If he tells me I look pretty, I'm not second guessing it. We don't have those, but what did you really mean conversations.
Lasker's is the easiest place
To buy the right one for the right one.
across from Oakwood Mall, Eau Claire.
And online at laskers.com.
So, yeah, easy. That's my favorite thing.
Real quick, raise your hand if you want to lose an additional 4 bands a year. Go ahead and put your hands up. Put your hands up. You voted for Kamala Harris. Oh, okay. My fault. Good, because I don't think people understand that voting for Trump means you will lose an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. If Trump is elected, he plans to add a 60% tariff on all imports from China. Anything in your house that says made in China, take the price that you paid for and add 60%. He plans to add a 20% tariff on all imports coming from every other country. With Kamala Harris's opportunity economy, she's not hitting you with the sales tax of doom. She's providing tax cuts to the middle and working class, so that means you will save an additional $4,000 to $5,000 a year. Plus the $25,000 she's literally handing to new homebuyers. Like, you know who to vote for in this November's election. It's Kamala Harris. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Do you remember all those times playing in the backyard and daydreaming of either playing on your favorite sports team or dreaming about all the goals you wanted to accomplish in life? We still do that today, and that's why we created Backyard Dreams. We want to help people accomplish their goals, chase their passions, and achieve their dreams. Whether someone's dream is to attend a ball game, someone needs a new pair of basketball shoes, or a Little League team needs help going to a tournament, we want to help, and we need your help as well to help our community. To learn more about Backyard Dreams, just visit sportstalk1051.com.
We're looking for some locations to take the Mobile Man Cave, whether it's to do some podcasts, maybe some shows, or just to check out some locales around our great area, great state over there. So if you got any ideas, you got any suggestions, let us know. Let me know. All right. Hit me up on the socials or shoot me an email over there. One of our partners of the Mobile Man Cave is our good friends at Toyson Ford. I got to tell you about the service we've had from Toyson Ford a couple weeks ago. Had to take the mole man cave in just to, get it checked out for some of our long road trips and such. But one of the services that Toyson Ford provides, they came over, they picked it up. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, when can I go over there? Can I get some work done while I'm waiting for it? Nope, they came over, they picked it up, and they brought it back over here too, so I could continue with my work day. And they can do that for you as well. But or if you're in the market for a new vehicle, go give our friends at Toyson Ford a visit. Toyson Ford, 1000 Chippewa Crossing Boulevard in Chippewa Falls. That area is getting built up over there, and Toyson Ford was the first ones over there too. But just friendly family customer service at Toyson Ford. Let's switch some gears here and talk some Badgers. RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning. So RJ, halftime of the game last Saturday, got a backup quarterback coming in for Penn State. Were you thinking, dude, we're going to pull this off? We're actually going to pull this thing off? Did that cross your mind?
Yeah, for the first 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
Then the pick six kind of changed not only the environment of the stadium, but pretty much I think the attitude of the team and I mean the atmosphere just went out of the Camp Randall, and then Wisconsin started calling conservative play calls. Didn't help the case out. I think it was the offensive coordinator not being comfortable with Braden Locke. But, I mean, you still had a situation where passing the ball was yielding better results than rushing. But for one reason or another, kept trying to force the ball in there. And you go back and watch it, whether it be incompletions due to the passes that were getting out, or receivers just dropping the football. I guess trying to put the ball in the hands of somebody who's not going to be putting it on the ground or stopping the clock was the thinking there. But it was just one of those that got away from you in the second half again. And so far in their 3 losses, I think I read the stat, Wisconsin's getting outscored 70-10 in their losses in the second half.
Wow, man, holy moly! So, do you take that as a kind of a moral victory a little bit, or not really? That it was, they had a chance. Through 3 quarters and such. Do you take that as a moral victory, considering what we've seen from this team so far, or not really?
No, there's no way you can, especially when the current coach, his whole big thing was, in the past, you lost 4th quarters. We're not going to do that anymore. Well, you gave up 14 points in this 4th quarter. Your team looked like it gave up, and you were just ready to move on to the next game. But, that'll happen, I guess, when your quarterback is averaging at least 1 giveaway per game. That it's just not something that can happen. And even in his post-game presser, they asked him about the play. He said he just can't make those kind of decisions. And the follow-up question was, did you see him? And he said yes. So, at that point, you're either throwing games for the sake of it, or you're just dumb. And I hope it's the latter, because, that's inexcusable. You cannot be throwing that pass. And if you went off on the sideline and told your coach that, and he still put you back in the game, that's on the coaching staff. Like, he did not belong in the game at that point in time. If you saw a guy and threw into triple coverage and just hoped for the best. But that's another story for another day. It's just one of those, beginning of the year, this was marked up as a loss. Everybody thought of it anyway, losing the big, quote unquote, the big 4 games, and you have a shot at winning the rest. So, I guess you can't be too frustrated if you were one of the people who fall into that group, but watching how you lost that game, it's absolutely frustrating that an offense can look so good against 3 opponents. And really, those are the only 3 games they've looked good in this year. And it looked like things were turning around, but you fell back into some old habits against better competition. And it's just one of those you take. It's not even 2 steps forward, 1 step back, because you still take a step forward in that scenario. You took 2 steps forward and took 3 steps back, and you're back to where you were when we struggled to beat our two non-conference opponents before we got smothered by Alabama and laid a dud against USC. I mean, it's pretty much the same script as the USC game. You just didn't put up enough points in the first half to make up for that. And it was a disappointing game. There was no moral victory out of it. It's just one of those. At this point, you do not know when we're going to be able to beat a quality opponent.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the game on Saturday nights with Iowa, both teams 5-3, both 3-2 in conference play here. Right now, Iowa's a 3-point favorite, but you look at Iowa this year and you look at what they've done. First of all, I mean, I'm surprised to see some of these scores where they're actually putting up high 30s and even in the 40s here a little bit. It's like, who the heck is this Iowa team right now? So, I mean, how different is this offense from Iowa this year from what we've seen before in the past?
It's really not. Their defense is still just good enough where they've created a lot of short fields for their offense, and their offense is able to put up points, and their defense is still putting up points. So I don't think much has changed. They've just had the opportunity to have a lot of short fields to help put up points, and it's really going to be a battle of field position because neither team actually scores that much. I mean, you still go look at the scoring offenses here. Neither average over 30, and both defenses average giving up under 20. So it'll be a pretty interesting game, I guess. It might be a boring game, which I'm okay with, as long as it's not a blowout or we don't, it's just looking at the stats that both of these teams put up on either side of the ball. It has the makings for a low-scoring, boring game.
Mm-hmm.
And, that'll be interesting to see what kind of ratings NBC is going to get for that. But I was a little surprised to see it was not an 11 a.m. kick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're looking at defenses that are good at one thing and not necessarily the other. I think Wisconsin on the defensive side of the ball should be able to try to stack the box and stop Iowa from running the ball.
Caleb Johnson specifically?
Yeah, specifically. Because, I mean, right now, it's a typical Iowa offense. They run the ball, and then their tight end is the leading receiver. So now with McNamara gone out with injury and possibly the backup who was Northwestern's starter 2 years ago when Wisconsin just put a wallop on him after Paul Chryst was fired. He came in relief for Iowa last week. We'll see how things are progressing. Cade McNamara was not on the depth chart when it was originally released for this week. So, yeah, it's looking like, that pass offense for Iowa that ranks 128th, force them to win via passing the ball. I mean, they average over 200 yards a game rushing. And the way, especially in the second half, the way Penn State was running against Wisconsin, honestly, if you're not trying to force this team to pass on you, you will lose the game because you won't be having the ball. Iowa will just run the ball, run that clock. It could end up being a short game where your opportunities are limited, and you're looking at a game where Iowa probably could put up 300 yards rushing against this Wisconsin defense, as much as we've seen this year. I mean, you look at that South Dakota game. If South Dakota would have just kept running on Wisconsin, Wisconsin would have lost that game. And, I mean, we saw Alabama end up kind of running on us near the end. Penn State was running on us near the end. Everybody seems to be able to do well rushing unless you're Purdue, Northwestern, or Rutgers. And it's something where you're looking at it, and it's really concerning in this game. But, Yeah, it's going to be tough in the set for the defense is looking at, but that's something for the D coordinator to figure out, and hopefully he figures out a plan to stop the run. And it's a good rushing attack. It's not like we're going up against Rutgers, who's got 4 linemen out, and they got to figure out what to do. I mean, Iowa's got a good offensive line, like you said, good running back, and just force them to pass. And on the other side, they have a pretty darn good rush defense. You should be able to open it up and throw all over these guys, though. I mean, they give up over 200 yards passing a game. And, as long as Braden Locke is secure with the football and Wisconsin is secure with the football, and you can pin Iowa deep in their own territory, that's what you have to do to beat this team in Iowa City this weekend. But right now, it's still one of those teams. I don't know if we have the team that can do that.
RJ, you being a part of the program a few years ago, what is it like as a visiting team to go play at Iowa?
Well, it's Iowa fans don't like Wisconsin fans. Even on the sidelines, have been called some names that, you can't really repeat over the air. And whether it is, we'll just say, when you spend a lot of time outside and you get tan, and Iowa fans kind of use words that should never be used in even talking to people. I won't say it's intimidating. It's a lot of ignorance surrounding you, at least in every experience I've had in Iowa City. Now, there are good people, not going to lie, but usually I've always ended up running into somebody who doesn't really become nice people.
Gotcha.
But it's one of those. It is an intimidating environment. Now, the past couple of seasons, they've been kind of hating on their offense, so it's been a self-deprecating. You get a lot of Bronx cheers and stuff like that. Maybe this year that's changed, but there are fans who've kind of grown tired of things, and it's become a little less intimidating. But when they were running hot and had a great defense, a pretty darn good offense that was not just running backs and tight ends, and they actually had receivers who were doing stuff, and Nate Stanley doing his thing, and that whole era, and even before that, they're pretty rabid fans, and it's a tough place to play.
Switching over to hockey before I get to your prediction here for the football game. Badger men's hockey, they were up against number 1 Denver and dropped both games. First one 2-4 loss, then falling on Saturday 1-6. This men's team now 1-5 overall in for the season. They got Notre Dame coming up this weekend here at Notre Dame, so back on the road here. Is there anybody pushing the panic button down in Madison about this team right now, or is it still? Can we say it's still too early in the season to be doing that?
Well, it is a little concerning when you're getting blown out a lot, and when you're trying to get a team together, and you're watching this, and it just seems like this team doesn't have any stars. It has a lot of role players, and it just doesn't seem like there is a star here. I mean, there's Quinn Finley, who, he's doing okay, but there is no top level talent that can take over a game on this team. And it kind of showed itself in the first series of the year against Lindenwood, where you picked up a loss, and that was concerning. And now you have one win against Lindenwood, and you're just not looking the part right now. And you get enough of these losses mounted up, and in the first half, it's going to be pretty tough coming back in the second half to have Mike Hastings keep his winning streak alive. But it really doesn't look like this team has what it takes to do any winning this year. So it's a pretty tough scene from last year when you still had a few guys who were those playmakers, but now they've that for one reason or another, whether it's tampering with NIL or whether it's how some people say NHL teams with rights don't want their players playing for Mike Hastings. Who knows? But still, there was an exodus of top talent from this team from a year ago, and I think that's what's showing right now.
Gotcha. And then a cool nugget from yesterday. The Badger basketball team, I'm sure a lot of people, we shared the video and such, but it was announced, revealed that the Badgers are going to be putting up Bo Ryan's name in the rafters at the Kohl Center on November 15th against the game against Arizona, honoring the Final Four teams, which is just perfect because they beat Arizona both of those years over there too. So, I mean, I think we've talked about it before, RJ, when Bo Ryan's career is over with, what could they do or what would they do to honor him and such? And this seems to be the way to honor, because I know some coaches get their names on the court like he does at Platteville, but Badgers already have that. So it seems like this is the way they're going to be honoring Bo Ryan that day.
Yeah, Ab Nicholas, former Wisconsin player way back in the day, but also became a very wealthy man after college, and his family donated a whole bunch of money to the athletic department, so they put his name on the court. Can't really pull that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's an honor for a guy who, took over a program who was ascending under Dick Bennett, who retired, and he took them to that next level. Never really got to, you made it to the national championship game, back-to-back Final Fours, all that. But, couldn't quite get over the hump to the national championship. And it's something that shows respect for a man who kept Wisconsin respectable and even elevated them a bit. So awesome honor to be able to put his name up there. And it's as close as you can get to putting your name on the court, which was already taken. But yeah, pretty cool honor. It's a lot. I thought you were going to bring up the secret scrimmage, so probably best that that we went with the Bo Ryan instead.
Secret scrimmage. I'm not sure what you're referring. Secret scrimmage. What do we got there?
Oh yeah, there was apparently over the weekend a secret scrimmage versus Northern Iowa that Wisconsin lost 85-75. So so there's that. But we'll see. I mean, it's a scrimmage, so you can lose that, and it doesn't go against your record. But at least they're out there getting some competition in prior to the season starting.
Interesting. So, is Bo Ryan? I'm not sure if you know this, but it seems like he's at practice quite a bit leading up to the season. Does he still attend practice quite a bit to watch the Badgers?
I don't know, because I know he's in Palm Springs a lot now. So
okay.
I don't know. Probably still has his condo here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got enough money to have a place in Palm Springs and a condo. He's got to be doing something right. But it does seem like there are quite a bit of pictures of him being around. But again, when Greg Gard is kind of owes his whole, I mean, that sounds bad to say, owes his career to Bo Ryan. I mean, from being a coach to working under him and all that. He's a Hall of Fame coach. If you invite him to be around and he comes around, that's never a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. All right. Before I let you go, prediction time. Badgers, Hawkeyes. How do you see this one playing out Saturday night?
Well, I really feel like this one is probably going to be a low-scoring game due to the fact, they're not the biggest scoring offenses, and both defenses are able to do their thing against, at least, scoring-wise. And with Iowa's offense being a little one-dimensional, I think Wisconsin has a chance to stack the box and kind of do what they did against like Rutgers, who had a top running back, and they kind of held him to, well below his season average. I mean, that might be a little difficult in this game, but yeah, hopefully they figure out something there. Probably a low scoring game. I'll say 2017 Wisconsin, but that's more so just picking so I can say the Badgers will win, because right now the head is not with the heart, but today we'll pick with the heart.
I like it. I like it. He's RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst down in Madison. Dude, we appreciate the time as always, and will you enjoy the rest of the week? And hopefully we're talking about that W next week, man.
Absolutely. Sounds good. We will talk to you next week.
You got it. There you go. RJ Cardinal. Good stuff as always with our dude. We got to take a quick break, and we got some picks and predicts to wrap up. Will the Dodgers sweep the series tonight, or can the Yankees extend it? What do you got? Hit me up with your picks, all right? Hit me up with the text. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Speaking of Tilden Gun, if you are getting ready for next month's deer hunting season, you still need to maybe get a rifle, or maybe you need to get a new one, or maybe you need to get somebody's first deer rifle, whether it's new or used, Tilden Gun's your place to go. You can check out their website, tildengun.com, or stop by their shop. It's kind of like a sweet man cave. If you haven't been to the shop over there at Tilden Gun, oh, it's awesome in there. 12427 98th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. And don't forget to send us those photos so we can put them up on the Tilden Gun photo board on our website at sportstalk1051.com. Just click on the Outdoors tab. While you're there, too, don't forget to submit that photo for the Ultimate Wisconsin Outdoorsman Challenge /Quest. More details, again, at our website. Just click on that Outdoors tab. And when you get that deer, take it on over to Mike's Star Market, our good friends at Mike's Star Market. Get it processed. You can check out their Facebook page for all the details, pricings, and options. And if you do get a deer, but you're like, you know what, my freezer's full, I want to donate it and help out some peeps, Mike's Star Market is your deer donation spot. The only one around here in the area, too. Let's do some picks and predicts, shall we, to wrap up this Tuesday morning. Picks and predicts brought to you by the Elbow Room, located in Eau Claire, right next to the Banbury Place. Quick look at the standings for our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge, too. And there was just one. There was just one now. I lost my lead, or I should say it wasn't just my lead. Tie for the lead here. I lost her, but still in second place by just one, with a group of others over there too. But Jolene in first place with 84, myself, Brandon, and Steve sitting there at 83, just one back, and we got a group sitting there that are two back in third place. So let's take a look at the NBA schedule. Just got a few games here tonight. Dallas at Minnesota. That should be a good one. I'm going to go Minnesota in this game. Let's do New Orleans at Golden State. Give me the Pelicans for that one. Yeah, I think that's all I'm going to pick for the NBA here. Let's go to the NHL. We've got Seattle, my Kraken at the Montreal Canadiens. Let's go with the Kraken. Why not? Let's go with Seattle over there. Anaheim at the Islanders. I'm going to have to go with the Islanders there. And Minnesota at Pittsburgh. I'll go with the Wild tonight. Why not? Yeah, let's go with the Wild here. And then we got the Rangers visiting the Capitals. I'm going to go with the Rangers, Philly, and Boston. Give me Boston for that one. And then game 4, do or die for the Yankees. I'm come on, Yankees, make this a series. I hate cheering for the Yankees, and I hate cheering for the Dodgers, but let's extend this here a little bit. Okay. I'll go for the Yankees, but I am not confident in this at all. Maybe the best pick here, pick and predict, is Freddie Freeman going to hit another dinger tonight? I'll say no. Although he's hit one in all 3 games here. So I'm going to say no, he doesn't hit one tonight, though. All right, that's your picks and predicts again, brought to you by the Elbow Room. Tomorrow's going to be a big day in terms of practice for the Packers. We'll see if Jordan Love's going to be able to do anything, or if he's going to be part of the rehab group. Same with Jair Alexander or Evan Williams. Don't freak out too much if you're paying attention to the practice reports out there and seeing who's practicing or not. Thursday and Friday are going to be the better indicators. But, I mean, if those guys are out there on a Wednesday, that is definitely a good sign in the right direction in terms of their availability for this Sunday against the Lions. So, but tomorrow, that'll be a big day over there. Also tomorrow, I'm going to call it Tip of the Cap Wednesday. If you got shout outs that you want to give us, or you want to give a shout out to somebody, or maybe you want to shout out a player of the game from this past weekend, or whatever. Maybe it's on the local college pro scene. Tomorrow, we're going to kick off our Tip of the Cap Wednesdays. So think about that now. Don't text them to me now. Do it tomorrow, okay? Otherwise, I won't say it tomorrow because I'll forget it if it comes through now. But our Tip of the Cap Wednesdays, get that list, and we'll get some shout outs to everybody and anything out there too. So think about that for a little bit. We'll hit those up coming at you tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow I guess we'll see if we have a World Series champion or not. If it's going to be the Dodgers. If we do, we'll hit that up. If we don't, we got a game 5 that we can talk about a little bit over there too. So Bucks, the next game they're going to be back in action is on Halloween, taking on Memphis. So that's not going to be until Thursday here, but might be one of those things where they want to get back on the court and grab a win and maybe get some confidence flowing over here right now, because I don't know, not the greatest starts here. You're way too early to look at the standings. Cleveland and Boston undefeated right now in the East, so they're at the top. Orlando's 3-1, Miami's 2-1, Chicago's 2-2, and Atlanta's 2-2. Then you got a group of everybody that's 1-2, 1-3. The only winless team in the Eastern Conference, Detroit. The Western side, only one undefeated team so far, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Phoenix Suns, though, off to a 3-1 start with their new head coach, Mike Budenholzer. Lakers are also off to a 3-1 start with their new head coach, and JJ Redick. Minnesota, meanwhile, 2-1. They'll be looking to go 3-1 with the victory over Dallas, who is also 2-1 tonight. The only winless team in the Western Conference is the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz, the only winless team so far. So, but if you look at the standings right now, yeah, Milwaukee is, according to how ESPN has it, second to last in the Eastern Conference right now. Yeah, not good. All right, there you go. Shot clock. We're going to have a new episode of the Green and Gold Tailgate Talk. That's up on our YouTube page. Go look for, search for my name, subscribe to it. We'll have a new episode coming up there shortly this morning of Green and Gold Tailgate Talk. Have a good rest of your day. DP Danettes are up next. Let's do this again tomorrow morning, just past 6. Talk to you then.